You know, there's this peculiar illusion in the modern economy. We have been trained to love virality, loud launches, and overnight founders who just pop up with millions and millions of dollars. But the truth is, the venture-backed prodigy with the ring light and a revenue screenshot just is not the real reality of how people are signing contracts. And in this video, I'm gonna tell you the 7 most boring contracts that corporations want to hire you for as a business, as a vendor, not as a W-2 employee, but as someone that already has a process, the same way that I have done for my clients, both small and corporate businesses and consultants and government contractors. You can do the same thing, and you may have already done the same thing in your W-2, but you just don't know how to apply it to entrepreneurship yet. So while everybody is chasing virality somewhere in a quiet glass building in California, there is a product manager calmly invoicing for the entire year $112,000 for making sure that things work on the product marketing team for a new software as a service launch. No drama, no viral threads, no I have to go into these networking meetings, I have to go and meet everybody. Just an invoice that gets paid on time while they collaborate with stakeholders. So after collaborating and working with and leading 257 different businesses across real estate, finance, healthcare, DNA, e-commerce, and more, and then getting those clients 31.9 million in collective client revenue to date, I have one simple observation that can make or break your next year or two in finding corporate contracts. The truth is, the highest paid roles are often the least exciting to talk about. They are not glamorous, they are structural. And the corporations that pay for these structures, let's just examine them together, because I'm gonna tell you the top 7 contracts right now. So a product manager, let's say you were talking about being a product manager at Apple, which you probably aren't, but there's a lot of other software tech companies that you could be at. But at Apple, you would be launching the next phase of the iPhone. You make sure the product is functioning, you're testing evaluations, you're watching metrics, you're watching the demos, you're contributing to the overall creative copywriting as well. Now, I have worked with product manager teams as a consultant, and I must say, it's one of those really fun ones that gets forgotten about. And you may have transferable skills if you're a marketing agency CEO, if you already work in marketing, if you are a freelance creative designer, or if you are a freelance writer, then product marketing could be the right fit for you. It pays well all across the nation, and people are needing product managers to ensure the product functions, because before they launch, they're not just launching into the darkness or launching without data. They are launching with a team that has already tested this product, done a few demos with prospect clients, tried it for themselves, seen what some of the features are, see what they need to take away. And if you are someone that feels confident in letting your voice be heard in these collaboration rooms, then they are willing to pay you handsomely for your expertise. Here's a side note. When a product generates 10 millions and millions of revenue every single year, coordination gets too expensive to leave out. Number 2 is the project manager. Now, I've hired operations consultants, project managers in my own business, because I'll be quite honest with you, this is not my favorite thing to do, but it may be your favorite thing to do if you used to be a virtual assistant, if you own a virtual assistant agency, if you have previously worked as a project manager in a smaller firm. And let me tell you, if entrepreneurship is jazz, corporate project management is the classic piano. Deadlines, documentation, processes. The project manager ensures everything gets done adequately and on time. They may even use a little bit of QA, quality assurance, to ensure the project flows so that they can deliver these key deliverables to their stakeholders or to their customers or whoever it is that they are doing business with as a company. Project managers get paid over 112K. You'll see some project managers and product managers get paid closer these days to $200,000 annually per year, plus bonuses, plus whatever extra benefits these corporations have. But again, they're not only W-2 roles. If you were to go on LinkedIn right now, then you would see that there are 1099 contracts, business to business contracts that you can have with these corporations, or you can reach out to them on LinkedIn, have a list of people that you're cold emailing, cold pitching to, of 100 people, 100 different companies, and you will get some feedback. You'll get a lot of no's, but the couple yeses that you get, they will change your life forever. Number 3 is one of my absolute favorites. I have a lot of favorites on this list because as a content strategist, retention marketer, marketing consultant, I dive into a lot of these areas simultaneously. And so the content strategist is not the content creator. This is the person who puts the thinking together, plans out the 90-day strategy, the 6-month strategy, the 12-month strategy for a business. And it could be in e-commerce, it could be in hair care, it could be in technology, it could be in education, it could be in finance, it could be in cybersecurity. Content strategists are needed in every single industry. I remember being in my kitchen in Columbus, Ohio. It was around 2018, and hearing about what a content strategist was, and hearing that those contracts were better for freelance writers than just doing the writing because they get paid more and they're in these creative thinking systems, and it's a higher level role. Content strategy, once you understand how to do it for yourself and you have your own portfolio, this is why I have clients in my VIP days and in my one-to-one, make sure they know how to create a portfolio website, write a 3 to 4 page website that actually looks good to these buyers, because again, this is not a W-2 we're talking. These are corporate contracts for businesses to work with other businesses, and so they're going to want to hear your thinking, your processes. And if you don't have your thinking and processes or standard operating procedures written down yet, this is your sign that you need to get those taken care of so that they can be public facing materials, so that you can blog about them, so that you can create a podcast about them. That way you can be found with the right companies, and those companies will reach out to you and say, hey, we want to bring you on for a 6-month retainer. Now, the content strategists can get paid so much. There are content strategists at OpenAI, Netflix that can get paid $380,000 per year, okay? Because those are some of the biggest companies that are out there right now. They're the ones who map messaging to revenue, which you know is why it's my favorite, because it's super results oriented. And so many people in small businesses say, you know, how can you match messaging to revenue? How can you ensure and guarantee results? And it's the most simple thing: data analysis. A content strategist is looking at the top 3 performers from a company previously. They're reiterating, they're coming up with new campaign ideas. They're not writing or executing those ideas. They are delegating those ideas to the junior copywriter, to the junior graphic designer, to the junior whoever else is on the team, so that they can get that campaign executed. And then they're going to come back and track that data and tell the CEO, tell the growth marketing manager, tell the vice president of sales how that campaign went and what they'll change in the future, or what their new ideas are in the future. Now, a content strategist has to be a creative. Like, if you're not creative as a content strategist, you may want to be a project manager instead, because there is a lot of creativity involved. You have to come up with new ideas on the fly, and you also have to have somewhat of an intuition and an analysis mind to let you know this is the direction that we need to go in. It could be what's happening in the culture. It could be what's happening with like AI right now. It could be what's happening with your industry. Like, I know a lot of finance people are saying, you know, when they work with real estate agents, the real estate agents aren't closing as many houses, so they have to divert. It could be situational based on your industry, and you need to be sensitive to that. That's why they want to hire you as a corporate contractor to make sure that this service is done properly. And remember, in a $50 million company, poor messaging does not merely cost engagement, it costs markets. So they pay big time to avoid that. And again, If you do not have a portfolio yet, like a public-facing www.tiffygwrites.ai, tiffygwrites.co for your own business, then you want to have that, because in all of these corporate contracts, they're typically glancing at your resume, but what they really want to see is your portfolio, how creative you are, how you can put a project together to the public, because that indicates to them, okay, if she can do this for herself, she can do this for a small business, or she's done this for medium-sized businesses, she can come in and do it for us as well. Number 4 is an ad specialist. And let me tell you, it's not too thrilling. I'm not the biggest fan of ads, but ad specialists make buku money, okay? Because paid acquisition is not thrilling. It's numbers, tests, spreadsheets, testing hooks, testing calls to actions, running A/B tests simultaneously to see what's going to work best for the ads. But when a 2% optimization equals 7 figures annually, boredom becomes super profitable. Ad specialists who understand attribution, customer revenue, and infrastructure rarely struggle for work. They become retained month after month after month. And this is only going to increase because we have Facebook ads, we have Google ads. Soon they're saying they're gonna have ChatGPT ads. So ad specialists are going to be in business for a long while. Now, for you to be in this corporate contract, you need to run ads for your business. You need to run ads for other small or local businesses and publish those results in a portfolio VIP day. This is what I teach my clients all the time, because you cannot generate demand if people can't even see you in the marketplace. AI content producer. This is a really interesting one because so many people thought writing would go out with AI. But as you can tell, in all of these corporate contracting roles, a lot of them have to do with writing and technical skills and storytelling. And so artificial intelligence has not replaced professionals. It has replaced amateurs. Let that sink in. Amateurs are the ones who are struggling right now, or people who are depending on things like coding and maybe software engineering, where those necessities aren't necessities anymore. We're really coming into the arts of entrepreneurship arena, where you're going to have these writers and storytellers and strategists that have thinking systems created and already have operational feedback coming in and leading these corporations as consultants, okay? The harvest is plentiful out here in the market, but corporations now require operators who understand both narrative and automation together. AI content producers build workflows, not just posts, okay? So if you have an automation like ManyChat or an email automation, as an AI content producer, you're responsible for creating that optimization and creating that automation with AI, but you're not just publishing with AI. Like, you have to be an expert prompter, okay? If you publish with AI and the prompt is too generic, they will not even look at your portfolio. They need to see that you go to the next level and bring wit and creativity. One of the ways that I create content with AI, and it sounds so much like me, or it sounds so much like my clients, is that I go above and beyond and I evaluate the AI. I make it correct itself, because as a copywriter, as a senior copywriter, when you're working with editors in the beginning of your career, they are going to meticulously edit your content. And so I make AI do the same thing. It has to go through 4 to 5 stages of revisions and renewals to ensure that the copy is up to par, because we are not publishing anything that does not sound good. So you must have a way with words, even to be an AI content producer. Number 6 is my top favorite on this list: retention marketing lead. Growth is noisy, but retention is quiet. So when you hear the word retention, you're thinking about retaining something. But in the case of corporate contracts, these businesses want to retain customer lifetime value for a longer period of time. Meaning, if their customer buys one thing, they want to see, okay, how can we get them to buy 2 and 3 things? If they buy 4 things, okay, how can we get them to buy 5, 6, 6, 7, 8 things. How can we get them to refer people to us? The most popular channels that you can initiate this, execute this, and get this done are going to be email marketing, SMS marketing, and then sending blogs and white papers to your email list. I was just talking to a tech founder the other day out in Burbank, California about this, and they were absolutely shocked at my process and how I go through the 20-question framework and have this creative storytelling element that's included in retention marketing so that their businesses get the best engagement, they can make their millions, I can make my money, and everybody's happy, and we move on at the end of the day. Retention marketing is more advanced, much more advanced. So if you're already in social media marketing, you're already a freelance writer, you're already a journalist, then it would work for you. But if you're brand new, you want to start out with being a project manager, a product manager, or something along those lines, okay? Because retention marketing is pretty far up there. When I'm working with retention marketing teams, I'm typically like the senior level, and I'm only speaking to or dealing with the growth marketing manager, okay? So that's like the vice president of sales in some company, or just the manager of growth over that entire marketing department, okay? So it is the type of career, it's the type of contract where you're coming in, you're leading people, you're working with people, you're evaluating people, and you're evaluating retention, you're evaluating email marketing systems, you're looking at data analysis, but man, does it pay well, and it's very rewarding if you love the intersection of data, storytelling, retention, and increasing customer lifetime value, increasing their satisfaction, and understanding how all of these things work together. So they build sequences, lifetime automation flows, renewal triggers with no applause, just reoccurring deposits every single month. And I have found comm executives admire this considerably. Lastly, we have an operations strategist. Now, this is very similar to someone that's an online business manager, but this is the strategist role. So they're not just a virtual assistant. They're the person that the virtual assistant actually goes to for advice or is managed by the operations strategist. Again, thinking in systems, they're handling things operationally for the entire department, okay? They're ensuring the company does not collapse from its own weight. They design the systems, they audit inefficiencies, they document processes, and they make sure scaling does not resemble panic, okay? And it's not glamorous, it's stabilizing. It's also one of those ones, to me, on the list that is like on the list of the super boring ones. So if you are someone that just automatically thinks in systems, you're always fixing things around your house, you're fixing things in your business, you're fixing things for clients, you're coming up with systems that function and make people more efficient, and you do it in an innovative way, because again, your competition here is AI. So if you're an amateur, you may not get that corporate contract that you want. But if you are more advanced, you're testing different AI systems, you're testing Claude AI versus ChatGPT, you're testing Asana versus ClickUp, you're testing Go High Level versus MailerLite, you're testing different systems, adding cybersecurity, going above and beyond to make sure that you are effective in that role, then that company is going to want to work with your business over and over again. Now, I want you to notice something about these roles. They are not centered on personality. They are centered on process. They're not fueled by virality. When you're talking to these executives negotiating a business deal, they do not care about your outfit, who you know, who you previously did whatever for. They are fueled by documentation and portfolio projects. And these aren't one-off projects either. These are repeatable contracts where it's like once you get in the door, or you get in a couple of doors, it's easy to get clients over and over that seek you out on LinkedIn, you know? And they are retained functions, and retained functions pay extremely well. But this is why this matters so much right now. Unfortunately, the modern professional is extremely fatigued. Freelance markets compress, and I remember those days of going on freelance markets. That's exactly why you will not find me on Fiverr, Upwork, any of those sites, even if they quote unquote pay a little bit well. Corporations will always pay that much better. They're gonna get you that experience so that you can audit your own process and audit your own business. Give that experience to smaller firms as well. I give that small business experience also to tax relief firms, DNA companies, e-commerce companies, other marketing agencies, CEOs, AI consultants, just about every single industry, especially as it's related to tech. Now, Algorithms change their moods daily, but corporate contracts, they don't rely on any algorithms. These people have 853 million they're making annually, maybe 50 million, maybe 12 million, maybe more than that. And they are also getting VC, venture capital funding. And it's not just businesses that don't look like you and I. There are also Black businesses that get this funding as well and that go pretty far in entrepreneurship, and you can connect with them and work with them in your area of expertise. Again, the only thing really stopping you right now is asking yourself the hard question: does my website reflect that of a portfolio website that a consultant would have? And if the answer is no, you're going to want to fix that. Do I have some type of marketing strategy that involves email marketing and sales? It can be cold or warm emails. I preference warm emails, but I also do cold emails as well as it's necessary. And so you need to ask, do I have a way to get in contact with these founders? Now, I've come up with an innovative system using AI where I can find leads for free or for the cost that I pay for these AI softwares, but I can find these leads, find their email addresses, and connect with them immediately. If you're interested, check out the link in the description, because I'm doing something I rarely do. I'm just putting my scheduler in the link in the description. I typically don't do that because I don't want too many calls, but if you fill out the application, you fill out the questionnaire entirely, then we may be able to get on the phone. If I look at your application and your question and I'm like, I don't think you're ready, I will let you know and we will not proceed to have a phone call. But best case scenario, you get to acquire this access and implementation for your own specific corporate contracts using the 20-question framework that I told you I use for corporations. We can apply it to your small business as well in a VIP day. Or you can go ahead and, worst case scenario, stay on YouTube, figure it out yourself, see if you want to spend 3 to 6 months figuring out, okay, how do I get in touch with these corporations? How do I present myself? Because I want you to stop thinking yourself as a side hustler, as a W-2 employee. Think of yourself as a business, an entrepreneur, a CEO, a founder that's going to meet another founder, another stakeholder, and negotiate deals and contracts. So your thinking is going to have to change. Your confidence level is going to have to change. But I believe that you can do it. Now, these corporations set aside their annual allocation budgets, and that annual allocation often looks like $100K to $150K to $200K per year per contract for calm competence. Now, you need to be very, very competent, again, not an amateur, but this could be you. This could be you sending those invoices or seeing those invoices hit your bank account. It's one of the best feelings in the world when a corporation pays you not as a W-2 contract, but as a 1099 business to business contract. The true flex in 2026 is not chaos, it's continuity. Peaceful systems, high contracts, and becoming so structurally valuable that volatility cannot even touch you. I'll see you in the next video. Visit www.tiffygwrites.ai. I'll leave some resources down below and let me know what topic you would like me to cover next.